Forward TV. The world is thinking.
You know, it's funny. I perform for general audiences and specialized groups, and I perform for scientists, and very often people ask me, do scientists have a sense of humor? Which, again, you know, ridiculous question. They do, but if anything, if I had to say something about some scientists' sense of humor, sometimes it's very literal. And so you have to be scientifically accurate, and you also have to be literal. Like, here's an example. I was performing once, and I was talking about the heat in Arizona, and I said something about it being 110 degrees in Tucson, 125 at Lake Havasu. And I said, that just sounds like science fiction. You're talking about the surface of Venus. And from the back of the room, someone went, no. Venus is much hotter than that. And the truth is, I knew that. I was using a comedic device that we call exaggeration. And I should be able to do that. But that's the thing. And maybe I deserve that because I've always had that kind of literal sort of mind also. But I love it. I love performing for science enthusiasts and for science. I did a conference a year ago, and I was getting ready to tell something about, I was going to tell this story about Pluto being demoted. Yeah. It's kind of a sad story. Anyone? Sad? Yeah. Is anyone all for it? Is anyone like right on? Really? What do you have against Pluto? Yeah. Cold, distant. I don't want to be in a plutonic relationship. Well, I mean, the thing I was going to say is that Pluto was like demoted, and then they were going to call it, a dwarf planet, which isn't even cool. They prefer to be called little planets, so it's not even politically correct. So I had a room full of scientists of all disciplines, and I knew there was at least one astronomer in the room. So before I told this joke, I was like, oh, and the astronomer in the room is actually an astronomer from the Vatican. His name's Brother Guy Consolmagno, and he's an astronomer, and he's the curator of the Vatican meteorite collection. How would you like that on your business card? Isn't that amazing? Did you know the Vatican had a meteorite collection? He's the curator. And he's a great guy, no pun intended, really real funny. And on the way to this joke, I realized he was in the room, and I said, Brother Guy, what did you think of Pluto being demoted? And he said, I was on the committee that decided. And then the whole room laughed and then hissed him. And that was one of the most beautiful moments I've ever had on stage. And it's the kind of thing that it was not likely to happen at a comedy club, that one of the dozen people on this international commission that decides the fate of Pluto is, you know, drunk in the audience blurting stuff out. That's not going to happen. But at this conference of scientists, he wasn't drunk, I don't think, but and to be fair, he actually, when I talked to him later, he said, I didn't say which way I voted. He just went for the laugh. So he went for the laugh as well. But so scientists do have a sense of humor. Speaking of, so scientists, there is one thing though, when I tell some jokes, you know, comics, we want laughs, first of all. Second of all, clapping is nice. But what I've decided I have to accept and just appreciate is sometimes when I tell a joke like that speed of light joke, sometimes I look out and I see someone, they're not laughing, but they're thinking, they're like going, uh-huh. They're looking the joke over, and they have found it sound. No obvious flaws, therefore carry on, comedian. And I've decided I have to just take that as an awesome compliment as well. It's like, okay, yeah, oh, wait, no, okay. The joke is sound, thank you very much. So, yeah, I love that.